How many episodes is this now? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Thank you so much for joining me every Tuesday night here in the War Room, something we started doing back on March 14th of 2020, and we've been doing ever since. So if you are new to the War Room, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, or YouTube, welcome. Yes, the War Room is actually a room in my house. It's where all my military memorabilia is from my trips overseas, all of the military memorabilia from the generations of my family that have served. And it is also where the bar is, which is why we started hanging out here during the height of the pandemic. Bish says, fuck it, we'll do it live. Yes, I know. I have this co-host here that is clawing at me. Wednesday, do you want to say hi to everybody? Go ahead, say hi to everybody. Because as I was trying to click the go live button, I was getting clawed and I hit the wrong button right away. So this is Wednesday for anybody that's new to the War Room. She is my co-host. That is where you can find her on Instagram. And yeah, so she comes in for cookies, scratches at me, is really, really cute, and then leaves until mail call. Right? So first of all, if you're new to the War Room, let us know in the comments that this is your first time joining us and where you're watching from. Second of all, apologies that we didn't have the War Room last week. Massive technical failures last week at the very last minute, which is why the show got canceled like after 8 o'clock last week. So my apologies for not being able to hang out last week. But we're back and we have a lot of things to talk about. So thank you for joining us. If you're new, the War Room family would like to welcome you properly. So let us know where you are right now. Hopefully you're someplace glamorous. Hopefully maybe you're somewhere with your feet up on a beach or something. Melissa says, give me cookies. We got to say hi to Tracy and Jonathan, Bish, and Elsa. Somebody on Instagram that just says Instagram user says, hi, Carrie. Hello. For some reason, the Instagram names are not coming up. It just says Instagram user and your profile pictures aren't even showing up. So if you're going to comment on Instagram, even some of the Facebook profile pictures aren't copying over. So if you're going to comment, put your name in the comment too so I can properly say hi. Somebody on Instagram saying, longtime fan from the WAF days. Thank you for joining me here in the War Room. Elsa says, happy unbirthday, Keith. We're not at the birthdays yet. Let's not rush. We have a lot to talk about. Jeff and Donna are here. Michael Cole is here. Polar Park doubleheader just finished. Sweep, he says. This week, perfect for baseball, by the way. Gorgeous weather all week in the Northeast. Christina says, what's up, fam? Mark says, Carrie, I hit 900 miles run so far this year. Fantastic. Fitzy McSullivan, that was me, says Instagram. On birthdays for the end of the show, says Jonathan. Yeah, exactly. So thank you guys for joining me during the debate as well. I guess I'm like the debate alternative tonight, or you can watch them simultaneously if you want to, whatever it is. But I wasn't going to cancel the War Room tonight because this is where we go when whatever is happening in our world is happening. And we come here, we congregate in the War Room to talk about whatever it is that we want to talk about. But most specifically music, because it's the one thing that we definitely all know that we have in common. Danielle saying hi. Eric says, stuck in Chicago with bacterial meningitis. Oof. Walter says, I miss the New England cool down weather. Walter, it's 70s, almost 80 all this week. Cooler at night, which is perfect to sleep with the windows open. But like the week before Labor Day, the first couple weeks of September, like the weather is perfect. Warm during the day, cool at night. Mike the Belly says, hello, your favorite Iraq deployment medic. Happy anniversary, by the way, Mike. I wanted to talk about it tonight because obviously tomorrow is the anniversary of September 11th. And it was right now in 2006 that I was in Iraq, and right now in 2011 that I was in Afghanistan. So I'll remind you guys all about the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock group on Facebook. And I wanted to show you guys these pictures. This is me and Combat Joe, producer Joe, in Iraq in 2006. And this is me and producer Mike in Afghanistan in 2011. Both of these guys have done episodes of the Mistress Carrie podcast. So if you weren't aware of my trips overseas, or if you're curious about some of the stories, these are both really long podcast episodes talking about what it took to get those trips to go overseas, all of the stories and missions that we went on, the adventures we had with our troops over there. But it's anniversaries for Boston to Baghdad and AAF to Afghanistan. So happy anniversary to everybody that I met overseas. I'm still such good friends with so many of the people that I met on those two trips. And a lot of them are active on this Veterans Rock group on Facebook. But if for some reason you are not, if you are a veteran, if you are currently still serving, if you are lucky enough to have a veteran in the family, or if you just want to support our veterans, this public group on Facebook is for all of those things. It's to be able to post about veterans nonprofit organizations, events to benefit those nonprofits. It's a place for you to ask questions and to network if you're a veteran looking for resources or a job, if you're a civilian looking to volunteer and help our veterans. And it's also a place for veteran-owned businesses to get their name out, and just a place for anybody that cares about our veterans to be able to go and congregate, share resources, information, and war stories, and hopefully a lot of veterans that serve together. It's a place for you guys to kind of get together. But I watch the feed, sometimes not closely enough, but I watch the feed, and I love seeing people ask questions like, hey, I got a question about this form that I got to fill out for the VA. Has anybody had any luck applying for this benefit? I have a veteran in the family that is struggling. Can somebody give me some advice about navigating this? I'm a veteran that just started my own business, or I'm in the military getting ready to retire. Could anybody give me some suggestions on navigating the transition process? So it's a great resource for all of us to get together and talk about veterans things, events, nonprofits, all of those things. So if you're not already a member of the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock group on Facebook, please do that, and also share it with all of the veterans in your life. It's growing every week. There's well over 1,500 people that are part of this group now, and it is growing more and more all the time. And I really want it to be a place where people are able to navigate issues. Sometimes somebody's just having a hard time. And especially this month, because it's Suicide Awareness Month, and today is actually World Suicide Prevention Day. Obviously, we all know about the statistics about suicide in the veteran community. And so obviously, on a day like today, when the world is talking about the suicide epidemic worldwide, this is not a uniquely American problem. We also want to address the very specific stresses of our veterans and how stressful the anniversary of 9/11 is for a lot of them. And not just our veterans, but 9/11 is also extremely triggering for first responders, firefighters, police officers, people that work in the airline field, air traffic controllers, pilots, and obviously anyone that lost someone on 9/11. But there's also, a generation of people that grew up with those images on television all the time. And after 9/11, a generation that was introduced to their generation's wars and conflicts. And so tomorrow, as we mark another anniversary of 9/11, which I cannot believe it has been this long, we just want to make sure, obviously, that we're paying close attention. And having the discussion about World Suicide Prevention Day, I wanted to remind you guys about the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. In the United States, we have 911, which you call in an emergency. In England, it's 999, but in the United States, it's 911. But the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention also 24 hours a day, 7 days a week has 988, which is a number that you can call, you can chat, and you can also text if you are struggling with suicide ideations, if someone that you love is, if you are having issues with substances, if there's a mental health crisis. 988 is a number that you can call or text at any time for yourself or for someone that you love. And it's important that we're all, as we commemorate the anniversary of 9/11, as we are getting barraged by political messages on one side or the other, this is going to be an extremely stressful time around the world, but specifically in the United States. And so it's really important for us to pay close attention to everyone's mental health. And I'm not just talking about adults either. Now that the kids are back in school, we all saw what happened in Georgia with the school shooting. And now that kid's dad is also being charged. This is a stressful time for kids to go back to school as well, and to be put into new schools, to be put into new environments, and also to be reminded about how dangerous the world is by seeing school shootings on television, by scheduling active shooter drills at school. And there's a lot of kids that are in new schools that maybe have moved or parents have divorced, and they're the new kid in school. And that, I think anybody that has ever gone to a first day at a new school can relate with, is an extremely stressful thing. And so Suicide Prevention Week and World Suicide Prevention Day, which is today, and the week is all this week, it's really important for us to put these discussions on the front burner, because this stuff is really top of mind for a lot of people. Bish saying, I was 16 and a sophomore in high school. Hold on, your comment is getting cut off here. Wednesday, stop scratching me. In high school, when it happened. Yeah, look, we all have experiences with mental struggles with ourselves or someone that we love. We all know someone that has died too soon, someone that has struggled with self-medicating, people that have had mental health crises, and it's 2024. I think we're past the stigma of these conversations, of requiring this stuff to be hush hush and behind closed doors. And we've all realized that that doesn't work. It doesn't solve the problem. And so openly talking about it, openly supporting people that are struggling, buddy checking a friend or a battle buddy that you served with that maybe has been quiet for a while. There are a lot of National Guard members that are still deployed right now in the Middle East. Their families are home. Call the family of someone that is deployed. And you don't even have to be deployed overseas. We have military members that are leaving for weeks and months at a time, even if they're in the United States, but they're away training, and they're leaving their spouse and their kids at home. That alone is stressful enough. Check in on those people. Do they need help with something? Winterizing their yards and houses, childcare, all of these things that are going to be talked about in the debates and this political season leading up to the election. These are all going to be talking points. And I think no matter what side of the aisle you sit on, we're all pretty aware that the white knight is not coming to save us, that the government in a lot of ways seems more interested in winning than solving the problem. And so we need to be our own heroes. We need to be the heroes in our own communities. And you might not be able to affect change nationally, but you can affect change with your neighbors, in your towns, in your communities, with your kids at their school. This is the time to have these conversations. Stacy says there's a traveling veteran suicide prevention truck. I just saw it last week. I'll send you pics. It's amazing. 2024 in itself has been an intense and crazy year, says Jonathan. Absolutely. let's see. I lost a friend who dropped out of high school to sign up for the Marines the week after 9/11. Yeah, that happened a lot. And it's so hard for me to imagine that there are active duty members of the military right now that were not even alive when 9/11 happened. And, I think for anyone that experienced 9/11 as an adult, it's like it happened yesterday. And as we watch a younger generation look at 9/11 the way that we grew up looking at Pearl Harbor, kind of disattached as it was something that happened so far in the past, just like the greatest generation was still so top of mind when it came to images of Pearl Harbor in World War II. But younger generations looked at that as being something so long ago. The same thing is now happening with 9/11, that you have got younger people that were either so small that they don't remember it, or that they weren't even born yet. And those images of the towers, of the planes, of the buildings collapsing, of the rescue workers on the pilot ground zero, President Bush with the megaphone, all of those things that if you were an adult on 9/11, you remember and are ingrained. To younger people, that's a newsreel. It was a lifetime before they existed. And that detachment can be really hard for older generations to accept, because the younger generations just, how could they understand the impact that had, the fear that had, that brought up in people. There were thousands of flights in the air, and for hours, nobody knew how many of them were hijacked and what was going to happen. We didn't have social media the way that we do now. We didn't have cell phones and smartphones the way that we do now. And so there were so many people that were cut off from communication. There were so many people that were confused. And then, of course, everyone in the military automatically knew something was going on. My husband was already in the military on 9/11. And so for an entire generation of our troops, that day changed everything, changed the course of their lives. And so this whole week, as we talk about suicide awareness, suicide prevention, commemorating the anniversary of 9/11, this is a heavy week. So we all got to check in with each other and really make sure that we are all supporting each other, because the messages that are going to be flooding social media because of this debate tonight, I haven't even seen what's going on, but I can only imagine. And as the election cycle ramps up, as the local, the state, and the federal elections all really ramp up, this is going to be an extremely stressful time in the United States. And we all really need to make sure that we're not only taking care of all of the people that we love, but ourselves. And I think sometimes we all forget when you sit on a plane and they tell you, in case of emergency, to apply your oxygen mask on yourself first. I think we understand that concept then, right? That in order for me to help the people on the plane with me, I need to be able to breathe myself. So I'll put the mask on. But we don't subscribe to that behavior in real life every day, that we don't take the time for ourselves to make sure that we're healthy, because the people that we love are not going to be able to have our help if we're not okay ourselves. And so we need to really make sure we're wrapping our arms around each other. Jessica says Wednesday says she wants cookies and belly rubs. Trust me, she always wants cookies and belly rubs. So there's a lot to talk about tonight, including an epic mail call. So I want to get moving on the show because we have a lot of things to talk about tonight. Okay, first of all, I want to remind you, you're running out of time to take advantage of this Mistress Carrie deal. I try to get you deals, discounts on really cool things, products, experiences, and you are running out of time. You've got about 6 weeks left of the jumping season in the Northeast. If you have always wanted to jump out of an airplane, I can help you do that. I can help you make that happen. If you go to jumptown.com, you can read the FAQs, get all the details on making a tandem skydive. You can also make an appointment. And when you do that, register with the code Mistress Carrie and you get $40 off your tandem skydive at Jumptown in Orange, Massachusetts, which is the first commercial drop zone in the United States. So go to jumptown.com, schedule your tandem, schedule it with the code Mistress Carrie, that's your coupon code, and get $40 off. If you are new to the War Room, maybe you're joining us on Instagram or on Facebook or Twitch or on Facebook, I want to remind you, a lot of people still don't know that I am back on the radio and have been for quite some time. So you can hear me every weekday from 10 to 3 on Charleston's Best Rock, 98 Rock in Charleston, South Carolina. You can get more information at my98rock.com. You can download the 98 Rock app so you can stream the station from anywhere. But yes, you can hear me in Charleston, South Carolina on 98 Rock. If you are in the Northeast, there's a couple different ways that you can listen. You can go to 100 FM The Pike. If you are in the central Massachusetts area, you can go to pikefm.com and download the Pike app, and then you can listen anywhere. If you like a combination of new and old rock, 98 Rock in Charleston. If you like more classic rock, you want to listen on the Pike. By the way, coming up in a couple of weeks, the Mistress Carrie birthday bash at Rascals in Worcester, presented by 100 FM The Pike. Rotten Apple, the premier Alice in Chains tribute band, and Justin Jordan are going to be taking the stage that night. It is 21 plus, Saturday night, September 28th. Tickets are on sale right now. The details on the birthday bash are on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. But yeah, the birthday's coming. We need to celebrate. And if you like more new rock than anything else, then there is another station that you can listen to me on, 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. You can download the Bone app at 1063thebone.com. And I want to remind you, the Deck the Halls with Daughtry holiday show, I am hosting it Wednesday night, December 11th at the State Theater in Portland, Maine. Special guests Sleep Theory and Devour the Day are also on the lineup. Details on this show on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com as well. Okay, where? Hold on. Oh, by the way, I'm giving you a chance to win Mudvayne tickets during the show tonight. So don't leave the show before you can win Mudvayne tickets to see them. Megadeth tickets to see them with Mudvayne and All That Remains. I've got those tickets to give away tonight during the show. Let me see here. Okay. Let's recap last week's podcast episode before I tell you who's on the show this week. Last week, a lot of great positive feedback on last week's episode. Dorothy returned to the show. I always love having her on the show. She is an absolute blast. And we spent a lot of time talking about collaborations because there are so many collabs that are happening right now. Dorothy appeared on Nita Strauss's album, the song Victorious, that was Nita's first #1 song. Dorothy also appears on the Scott Stapp solo album. She is on the new Stained album, Confessions of the Fallen, and she is also featured on Slash's Orgy on the Dance Floor. Orgy of the Damned, not on the dance floor. Orgy of the Damned, his blues album. So Dorothy is everywhere. She has a new single out called Mud, and her new album is coming out in early 2025. So we talked a lot about that. We talked a lot about the collabs. For some reason, we ended up talking about chickens and raccoons and pugs. We talked about a lot of weird things on this week's episode. And I just love having her on the show, but she literally is everywhere. And she's one of those singers that when you hear her sing, you understand why everybody wants her on their album, because the pipes are strong. So episode 222 of the Mistress Carrie podcast featuring Dorothy is available right now. And episode Wednesday, can you stop scratching me, please? Episode 223 goes live at midnight tonight, featuring Cody Carson from the band Set It Off. Now, these guys are going to be around Halloween in the Northeast. They have got a giant package tour with From Ashes to New, New Year's Day, and If Not For Me. They're going to be at the Palladium in Worcester on October 27th and at Aura in Portland, Maine on October 30th. I had never met Cody, who's right here in the middle, or the guys before from Set It Off, but this is a really fun episode. Even if you've never heard the band before, even if you don't like their music, Cody and I had an unbelievable conversation. First of all, we're both in relationships with Marines. His fiance or girlfriend was a Marine, always a Marine. Yes, I know, but she's not in the Marine Corps anymore. So we had that in common. And he also plays the clarinet. So right off the bat, we were instant friends. And this is a really, really fun episode. We spent a lot of time talking about Halloween, talking about the possibility of going to Salem on Halloween because they are going to be in the Northeast. We talked all about the tour package with all of the other bands and, of course, the shows that are coming to the Northeast. We talked about songwriting and the band's history, some of the new music that the band is working on. We spent a lot of time talking about the nu metal era because obviously that whole era in rock and roll is back in a massive way, both in sound, all of the big tours that are out are featuring a lot of those bands, but also in fashion. If you've gone clothes shopping recently, you'll see the big stovepipe, like Janko looking skateboarder rave pants are back in a big way. So we talked a lot about that too. So this is a really, really fun episode. Eric says, did you see Scott Stapp from Creed is playing Frank Sinatra? Yeah, there's a couple of rock stars that are on the big screen right now. Scott Stapp is in the Reagan biopic playing Frank Sinatra, and James Hetfield is in the new dark thriller pseudo-western called The Thicket with Juliette Lewis and Peter Dinklage, and even Andrew Schultz, the comedian, is in that. James Hetfield plays a sheriff. The movie, I guess, is really dark and weird, which is why Juliette Lewis is in it, obviously. And actually, actor Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones is the one that helped to get James Hetfield in the movie. So a couple of rock stars on the big screen right now. Salem is already a shit show, says Shane. Oh, trust me. And I told him that in the episode, like, you can't just pull the tour buses into Salem on Halloween. Like, if you guys want to go, I offered to take them, but I was like, we're going to have to make a game plan. We're going to have to figure out how we're going to pull it off because you guys can't just show up in Salem on Halloween with the tour buses. First of all, the tour buses won't fit anywhere. You can't park them anywhere. And, well, having a bunch of rock stars walking around Halloween in Salem is just going to be a shit show too. So Louise says, have a good night, everyone. Going to watch the presidential debate. Louise, have a good night. Bish says, get the booze ready. The debate is on. Yes, exactly. Tracy says it's fun. For 1 month, it's fun. Christine says, I liked living in Salem. Exactly. Rachel says, oh, he's pretty. So this is episode 223 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, and it goes live at midnight tonight. Don't forget, if you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, not only do you get the new episodes every week, but you also get the situation report, which is every Monday through Friday. It's around 5 minutes long, depending on what else is going on in the world or what's going on in music specifically. It could be 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes long, but it's all your rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates, and it uploads first thing in the morning so you can listen to it while you're getting ready for work, getting ready to send the kids off to school, whether you're on the treadmill or out running or in traffic trying to get to work. And you can listen to the Mistress Carrie podcast literally anywhere you get your podcasts. All the big podcast apps. You can listen to the audio episodes on YouTube. You can also just go straight to mistresscarrie.com, and all of the players are up there. Just if you're not technologically savvy, just find the episode on the website you want to listen to and literally click play. It is that easy. The audio is right there for you. A lot of people ask why I put the audio up on YouTube, and it's because more and more people are using YouTube to listen to audio podcasts because YouTube is everywhere. It's already installed in all the smart TVs. Most firewalls for companies don't block YouTube. And so it makes it really easy for people to be able to hit play on a YouTube video, even if it's audio only, while they're sitting at their desk with headphones on or whatever. So still celebrating 149 countries listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast. We have not hit 150 countries yet. Super bummed out about that, but I'm hoping someday somebody chiming in on Instagram saying I'm the only fan from Brazil. Actually, you're not. There are a lot of people, especially when I interview somebody that's a member of a more heavy and more metal band. The Brazilian listenership goes way up because there are just so many metal fans in South America, Brazil specifically. So yes, if you're on Instagram right now, joining us from Brazil, I can't see your name. It just says Instagram user for some reason, but you are by far not the only person in Brazil listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast. If you're celebrating your birthday today on September 10th, first of all, you're sharing it with Mr. C. So if you guys could all cheers my husband's birthday today. I know he's not watching right now. He's in a meeting, but cheers to my husband. My ride or die. You're sharing your birthday with Matthew Followill from Kings of Leon, Mickey Way from My Chemical Romance, and also Joe motherfucking Perry from Aerosmith, all born on September 10th. So happy birthday if today's your birthday. Happy unbirthday, Keith. Cheers to you. Trina says, I listen to your podcast when I am in the pool working out. I love it. Whatever you're doing and you're listening to the podcast, I think it's fantastic. So I appreciate you listening to the podcast no matter what you're doing. If you're sitting in traffic, if you're listening while you're remote working, whatever it is. Put the headphones on. Sometimes they get a little racy and they're not kid friendly. Sometimes not. So, Mr. C, thank you guys for all of the birthday wishes. If you guys would like to win some tickets, you could actually get a gift on his birthday. If you want to go and see Megadeth, Mudvayne, and All That Remains, they are going to be playing the Leader Bank Pavilion. This is tomorrow night in Boston. So these are last minute tickets, but I got them. And if you want to go to see the Destroy All Enemies tour tomorrow night in Boston. The weather is going to be perfect for an outdoor show on the harbor. Megadeth, Mudvayne, and All That Remains tomorrow night, Leader Bank Pavilion. Go to MistressCarrie.com right now. Click the Message the Studio button, and there will be a window that pops up. Put your full name, put Megadeth in the subject line, and make sure that I get your full name and your email address. And as soon as the show is over tonight, I'm going to start sending out Megadeth tickets. First come, first serve. And I am going to hook up as many people as I can before the tickets run out. So if you want to go and see Megadeth, Mudvayne, and All That Remains tomorrow night in Boston, these tickets are free. They are up for grabs for anyone in the war room with us right now, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, however you join me in the war room. Open up another browser window, go to MistressCarrie.com, top right-hand corner, click the Message the Studio button, put Megadeth in the subject line, make sure that I've got your full name and your email address, and I will hook you up. All right. Big stories to talk about in music. The three big stories. Oasis. Back together. Liam Gallagher says that the new album is done. Noel Gallagher is going to have a portrait hung in the National Portrait Gallery in England, in London, which he is amazed about. And you guys remember what happened in the United States with Ticketmaster getting investigated by the government because of the Taylor Swift tickets? The same thing is happening now in the UK. Ticketmaster is being investigated because of the debacle over the Oasis tickets. Oasis sold out. More than 10 million people around the world tried to buy tickets for the 17 reunion shows in the UK and Ireland, and it was a disaster of an on sale. Oasis announced 2 more shows at Wembley, prioritizing people that got screwed out of buying tickets to the other shows. But a massive government investigation into Ticketmaster and how they are putting up these massive tours on sale to make it fair for people. There were people, regular, like actually existing human beings that were filtered out of the queues because they were identified as bots. And they were like, what the hell? Like I was there, I was trying to buy tickets and you kicked me out and wouldn't let me back in because you thought I was a bot trying to buy tickets for scalpers. So there's a big investigation going on with Oasis, but we have not gotten North American tour dates yet. Rumor has it there are a handful of shows in the United States that are getting ready to be announced. There are a few shows in Canada and a few shows in Mexico. And if the rumors are correct, there is a date in Boston. Even though there's only like a half a dozen US dates, the rumor, if it's true, is that Oasis is playing Boston September 2nd next year. Unconfirmed, but I would like to think that that is just an early rumor. Lots going on with Linkin Park. Wow. So last week, Emily Armstrong was announced as the new co-lead vocalist of Linkin Park. They did their worldwide live stream, introducing her as the new vocalist, introducing the new drummer, announcing the new album From Zero, and the 8 worldwide reunion shows that kick off tomorrow night at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles. They performed live. They released their new single, The Emptiness Machine. From Zero comes out on November 15th. And then a little pushback on the announcement, being led a lot of the time by Cedric Bixler-Zavala, the lead singer from the Mars Volta, who is a former Scientologist, who is married to a former Scientologist, who was one of Danny Masterson's accusers. She actually was in a relationship with Danny Masterson and accused him of rape. And while her case, he was not found guilty, he was found guilty by a jury because of 2 rape accusations by Jane Does who were Scientologists. Those Jane Does were harassed by members of the Church of Scientology. Cedric Bixler-Zavala says that Emily Armstrong was in court early on, which Emily admits, to support Danny Masterson. She released a statement saying it was a mistake to be in the court, that she hasn't spoken to him, and that yes, they were friends, but that she has not spoken to him since, and that now that the evidence has come out about what he actually did and what he was convicted of, that she was very disappointed. Cedric Bixler-Zavala and his wife commented back after Emily released that statement saying, but you did not talk about your ties to the Church of Scientology. You didn't talk about your parents being high up in the organization, that you supported the harassment of the Jane Does. And so now there is a backlash. Even Jamie Bennington, the oldest son of Chester Bennington, has been lashing out, not only because of her support of Danny Masterson early on, but because of the belief system of Scientology when it comes to sexual assault, mental health, suicide, because Chester Bennington was a sexual assault survivor. He struggled with mental illness. It's World Suicide Prevention Day. It's Suicide Prevention Week. And there are a lot of people saying that the band launching all of these things with her at this time of year was at least tone deaf. There are a lot of people that are happy that the band is back. There are a lot of other people that are saying that Linkin Park can't exist without Chester. Mike Shinoda addressing those people, saying, yes, it's hard for all of us to have another singer and to look over and not see Chester behind the microphone. It's also come out that the band's guitar player is not going to tour with the band. So it is not a full Linkin Park reunion. There's a lot going on with Linkin Park. This is a lot. Let me catch up on the comments here. Rachel says the Linkin Park YouTube show was amazing. Trina says Danny Masterson was on that 70s show and his parents were very active in the Church of Scientology. He held significant status in the church, and the accusations of the Jane Does were that he was sheltered and protected even though people within the church knew what he was doing, and that they bullied the victims into not coming forward, tried to punish the victims. And so there was a large outcry against the Church of Scientology because, much like the Catholic Church, that the belief was that the organization as a whole was protecting significant bad apples. And I can only imagine that Mike Shinoda and the Lincoln Park camp were aware of Emily Armstrong's ties and that this controversy was going to come up. According to all of the interviews, they've been meeting and practicing and writing music together since like 2019, which was before Danny Masterson was convicted. So if she was collaborating with the band and then showed up in court to support Danny Masterson, people that are fans of the band have questions. Now, Chester Bennington's widow supports the band moving on without Chester, but there's a lot. There's a lot of people that don't think the Clinton administration should have ever given them 501c3 protected religious status. Then there are people within the church that say, I want the freedom to be able to practice my religion. There are people that say, well, where's all the money going? And those same questions can be asked of the Catholic Church, the Mormon Church. Religion in general generates a lot of money. And as we see in this presidential season as well, there are going to be a lot of talks about religious persecution and religious freedom. And obviously, if you're a member of one specific religion, you would like your religion to be the one that everybody else has to respect. And if you are not a member of that religion, then you believe that the government should protect you from that religion. And so this is something that is also because the Church of Scientology has become very politically active as of late, sinking a lot of money into the elections. And, to quote the great Mike Shue, follow the money. I think if any organization, whether it be a company, a nonprofit, a religion, is sinking hundreds of millions of dollars into supporting politicians or a specific ideology or a political party, I think the only logical question to ask is what's in it for them and what are they expecting in return? And I think that's a fair question for anybody. But as this discussion opens up about Scientology and everything that's going on, now, Emily Armstrong has not come out and said, yes, I'm a Scientologist, but she was raised in the church. Her parents are active members of the church. So there are a lot of people that are asking for comments on it, and the band has not addressed this specific issue. Emily released a statement via Instagram story and left it at that. So this is a lot to talk about. The other big story in music actually broke this afternoon. And before we get to the rest of the show, I wanted to talk about this for a pretty specific reason. And again, it kind of ties into this political season as well. We have seen a massive push in the girl dad concept, right? We're seeing a massive push in women's athletics, the women's soccer team, the national team, the WNBA, obviously coming out of a significant Olympic Games in Paris and Paralympic Games in Paris, where all of our athletes made us proud. But some of the athletic feats, if you look at Alana Marr, who is now on Dancing with the Stars, the rugby player from Team USA from Vermont, really showing what women are capable of in all facets, all body types, all sports, whether it be, Simone Biles being, 4'9", and Alana Marr, who is almost 6 feet tall, to really be able to show what women are capable of. Even back when Kobe Bryant passed away and the idea of the Mambacita and him teaching his daughters the game. Hey, Wednesday, come here. There is a big push for girl dads, right? You see Jason Kelsey with his daughters, and you just see all of these athletes really embracing the girl dad thing. In case you didn't see the news today, Dave Grohl came out with a post on social media saying that he recently became a dad to a daughter outside of his marriage. Now, he's already the father of 3 daughters with his wife, And so he's confirming that he did, in fact, have an affair on his wife. And he said that he is working to earn their forgiveness and trust again. And I think, I don't speak for, I can't speak for anybody else, but I can say that having met Dave Grohl and seeing the kind of person that he is, this was a shock to anybody. His wife, has always been around. You see him photographed with her. She's had 3 kids with him. She was a model, a working model, a successful model before she married him. So she already had her own money and her own success. Not that she married him for all of that, which sometimes is the accusation with women. So this was a big shock. Now I bring it up because this cuts really close to home for me. And while everybody is going to be making memes and jokes on social media about Dave Grohl, there are a lot of people on one political side that don't like Dave Grohl because he has a lot of strong opinions about his political beliefs. But right now, I can only think about his wife and girls, specifically the daughters. And I bring it up because I really think it's important for dads and guys that you understand that if you're raising your daughters the way that I was raised by my dad, to be strong, to be smart, to be hardworking, to be educated, to make my own way, to not depend on a man to support me, to be self-sufficient and self-reliant, those are all amazing things. And Dave Grohl seems to be that kind of dad. In this political climate, you're also hearing a lot of things about traditional family values and opinions about single moms, about childcare, about cat ladies, childless cat ladies. And you're hearing a lot of stuff, okay? This brings up a lot of things for me personally that I want to share with you so that you understand why women, I think, react the way that they do to situations. So if you're a woman that is successful, like Dave Grohl's wife, and you get into a committed relationship with your husband, and you sacrifice your career and your life to have that family, take the fact that he's a multi-millionaire rock star out of it, okay? And just imagine that she's any woman that maybe went to college and had a job working for a company. Maybe she's a lawyer. Maybe she's the director of HR, whatever it is that she does. She sacrificed time at work and her career and a lot of other things to have that family. And women make that trust fall, to be dependent, to be able to be pregnant, take time off from work, to recover from childbirth, to, in a lot of cases, not all, be the primary caretaker for those children. Maybe they decide to not go back to work. Maybe they want to go back to work, but they can't afford the childcare. All of those things, right? There's always the possibility that your husband could leave you. There's the possibility that your husband could be killed cycling with his brother by a drunk driver, and you all of a sudden become a single mom that we just saw happen recently. But there's a trust fall there. But the other thing is that those daughters are being told by this man that they look up to, that is encouraging them to be strong and independent and hardworking, and that you can be whatever you want to be. And those daughters look at that girl dad as the example of what they should be striving for in a partner if they are looking for a relationship with a man, right? That opposite sex parent relationship, that sons and moms, daughters and dads, it's that kind of thing. My dad never had other kids, but this is what my dad did to my mom. And he raised strong daughters. And then those strong daughters watched him do something to our mom that he raised us to not accept from the men in our lives. And that has ripple effects for the daughters growing up, learning that even the man that they were supposed to be able to trust above all others can lie and make mistakes and choose something over what was best for the family. And I lived it. It happened to my family. There was not a child brought into the world due to that, but it destroyed the family. I give Dave Grohl and his wife credit if they can work through it, if that forgiveness comes, if they can rebuild trust and move forward. That is every person's right to have the relationship that they want, to forgive or not. But guys, I say this to you all the time, whether it be the political statements you make. We're going to see a lot of really anti-woman things about Kamala Harris tonight. Even if you don't agree with her policies, your daughters and the women in your lives are watching what you say, how you say it. And this issue with Dave Grohl having to admit that this happened, obviously nobody's perfect. I have so much empathy for his daughters because I have been that daughter, and it is a hard learned lesson to learn that your dad isn't everything you thought he was. And it really, really wreaks havoc as you get older and you try to establish adult relationships and learn how to trust and love and that trust trickles into the trust fall of being willing to get married and to have children and maybe put your career on hold and be dependent, right? Because 20, 30, 40 years ago, if your husband did this to you, you couldn't leave because you couldn't take out a mortgage for your own house. You couldn't get divorced because of cause. You couldn't get a job. You couldn't have your own credit card. There was no way for you to be able to be a single mom and successful. So you were forced to stay. This is big stuff. It's not just Dave Grohl. I'm not harping on Dave Grohl because everybody makes mistakes. He's not my husband, so it doesn't affect me at all. But I bring it up because as a woman, as a daughter, and as we hear these messages about political messages on one side or the other about, women's role in society and traditional family values, this is part of it. Why are women not willing to have as many kids? Maybe they're doing it alone. Maybe they're not being supported. Maybe they don't have a job where they can get health care. Maybe there's no child care. There are so many facets of it, on top of the fact that it puts you in a position to be dependent on another person. And if you already have trust issues, this is big. This is big stuff. So guys, I bring it up because I just want you to hear, and I'm not trashing on men by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I'm a happily married woman to a man whom I love, whose birthday it is today. Cheers, babe. I love you. But I can tell you, speaking as the daughter, that this is big stuff. This is big stuff. And it's something that you need to think about when it comes to the role that everyone plays in society, and whether or not women want to give up that career, whether or not women are willing to prioritize another person or having a family to put themselves in a position where they might have to do this alone. I saw that news about Dave Grohl today, and immediately I just was flooded with this wave of empathy for his wife and daughters, because I lived through that with my mom and dad and my sister. And Melissa says you couldn't have a checking account There were no marital abuse laws. Yeah, your husband was legally allowed to rape you. They didn't consider it rape because it was your husband. And if he wanted to have sex with you, he could do whatever he wanted to you without it being a crime. Like in my lifetime, my mom couldn't have a mortgage without my dad, even though my mom had the full-time job and supplied the health insurance for the family when my parents got married because my dad was running a family business. My mom couldn't have a credit card. She couldn't buy her own car. My dad had to buy it on paper, even though it was her money, because she couldn't take the loan out for the car. In my lifetime. So these things this is not like an exclusive thing. This is not happening in a vacuum. People want to know why women want to have choices about their health decisions or about whether or not they want to get married or have children or all of this. It all goes back, and these things are all connected. And be really careful because your daughters are watching. I can tell you that it was one of the worst things in the world to think one thing of my dad and realize that the person that I thought my dad was, he was far from. And it was life altering. And I never repaired that relationship with my dad because of it. So this is hard stuff. So, all right, let's talk about the rest of what's going on in music. Because a lot of shows have gotten announced. They're already getting announced for next year. Tonight, Weezer, The Flaming Lips, and Dinosaur Jr. are at the Garden. Jelly Roll has said that the Beautifully Broken tour has already changed his life, and he's like 5 dates into the tour already. Beautifully Broken, the new album coming out October 11th. He's going to be at the TD Garden September 26th. Tons of shows coming to the Garden. The Black Keys show canceled. Obviously, Aerosmith canceled. The Black Crowes, by the way, have redone their tour dates, and they have moved their date at the Mohegan Sun from February to this Halloween. So if you have tickets for the Black Crowes, you already got notified that show has been changed. Silver Scream Con is coming up this weekend at the DCU Center. Make sure if you're going, the convention opens up on Friday at 5 o'clock and goes through the weekend. If you love horror, if you love gore, if you love rock and metal, this is the place you want to be. DCU Center in Worcester. Ice Nine Kills, Spencer Charnas. This is his brainchild. If you're going to be there, come by the Mistress Carrie booth. Come by the 100 FM The Pike booth. We're going to be there all weekend. Iron Maiden's also going to be at the DCU coming up in November. By the way, all the shows we're talking about, Silver Scream Con, all of that up on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Big Night Live coming up on Friday. The Warning is going to be at Big Night Live. Coal Chamber, this is postponed till March 30th. I thought I fixed that, so let me drink for the social. This got rescheduled because Des Fafara is still resting after a medical emergency. Dirty Honey's going to be at Big Night Live October 1st, my birthday. Asking Alexandria October 8th, Palais Royale on the 11th, and The Marvelous 3 and Lit coming up November 10th. Jonathan says 21 Pilots is great. Ralph says, hey, Carrie and Wednesday. Had a great time at Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie, as did I. I put a bunch of pictures up on Facebook and Instagram. Coming up fast, the Xfinity Center, Korn, Gojira, and Spirit Box, September 21st. There are still a few tickets left available. Korn celebrating their 30th anniversary this year, which is kind of insane. Sevendust announcing that guitarist Clint Lowry is not on this leg of the tour, including the dates this weekend at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom. He is nursing a neck injury and was told by the doctor that playing guitar and banging his head on stage for Sevendust is probably not going to help him get better. So with his permission, Sevendust is going to have some friends come in and fill in on the tour. So if you're going to see Sevendust this weekend, Clint Lowry is not going to be on the tour. Accept is going to be around the Northeast all like the next week and a half. This Adrian Belew, Steve Vai, Danny Carey Beat project is going to be all over the Northeast. They've got like 6 dates. They're all up on the website. This one at the Schubert is on October 11th. Duran Duran at Mohegan coming up on October 25th and at the SNHU Arena November 2nd. Godsmack with Nothing More in Flat Black, October 26th. That's at the Mohegan Sun Arena. Dream Theater just announced that they are going to be at the Box Center Wang Theater March 15th. Those tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. And Mike Portnoy back with Dream Theater. So that massive tour just got announced today. Also, Leader Bank Pavilion tomorrow night, Megadeth, Mudvayne, and All That Remains. Those free tickets are up for grabs right now. I'll tell you again before the end of the show how to get them. Jane's Addiction is going to be at Leader Bank coming up this Friday night as well. Pearl Jam's going to be at Fenway on the 15th and 17th. And I want to remind anybody that's got Pearl Jam tickets and anybody that goes to any show at the Garden, you can't just use your Ticketmaster app when you're going into these specific sporting venues. Fenway, the TD Garden, and Gillette have their own apps that you have to download and connect to your Ticketmaster account for your tickets to show up. So you're going to need the Fenway app connected to your Ticketmaster account for your Pearl Jam tickets to show up. Otherwise, you're going to get to the show, try to open up Ticketmaster. Your Pearl Jam tickets aren't going to be there, and you're going to end up at customer service all pissed off and frustrated for no reason. Set It Off, New Year's Day, and From Ashes to New are going to be at the Palladium coming up October 27th, the New England Metal and Hardcore Festival, September 21st and 22nd. And this Saturday night at the Palladium Outdoors, Ice Nine Kills, In This Moment, Avatar, and TX2. Tickets for all of those shows are available right now. Kaleo is going to be at Roadrunner tomorrow night, the Hives on the 25th. Skillet, Seether, Tim Montana, and Royal Lynn on the 20th of this month, which is also release date for Seether's new album, The Surface Seems So Far. And congratulations to Seether. Their fourth consecutive #1 song, Judas Mind, is the #1 rock song this week. The Red Clay Strays are going to be at Roadrunner in Brighton on October 5th. Dayseeker and Rise Against are also going to be at Roadrunner as well. Metal Fest next weekend in Worcester. Yeah, it's going to be huge, Ralph. Absolutely huge. Vito says, hi, Carrie. How are you? I'm fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Jason wants to know how Mom is. Mom is okay. Her Alzheimer's and dementia, unfortunately, are progressing, but she is happy and well cared for, and that's kind of all we can hope for right now. So, thank you for asking. The MGM Music Hall at Fenway, Kings of Leon coming up. They have got 2 shows, one in September, one in October. The Sisters of Mercy are headed there on the 22nd. These Queens of the Stone Age shows, they have not announced the rescheduled dates yet, but they're getting rescheduled for next year so Josh Homme can recover from emergency surgery. And 2 Sting shows at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway as well. Let's see. House of Blues coming up on Sunday night. Bad Flower is going to be there. Next week, Rival Sons and Clutch. Also, Airborne Toxic Event. Blues Traveler, Hatebead with Carcass, Harm's Way, and Crypta. Testament, Theory of a Dead Man's Unplugged Tour, and Steel Panther, all coming to the House of Blues in Boston. And once again, you can get the details on all of those shows on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. The Paradise Rock Club in Boston, the Lemonheads are there on Thursday night and on Friday night. Duff McKagan's there November 4th, and Guar is going to be there on November 5th. MLB Ballpark app for Fenway. There you go. Let's see. Hey, Carrie, we're going back out with your boys in Drowning Pool next month. Hope you're well. It says Instagram user on the comments. So it says, so I don't know who's commenting. What band is it that's commenting that you're going out with Drowning Pool? Can you chime back in the comments so that I can say hi? Because your name and your picture from your Instagram account aren't showing up in the comments, by the way. Above Snakes, cool. Tell the Drowning Pool guys I send my love. And then I can't wait to hear the new music from those guys now that Ryan's back in the band. I'm so excited. And speaking of Drowning Pool, you guys can see video footage of it up on YouTube if you get Googling. One of the craziest concert experiences of my life happened on September 11th, 2006. Drowning Pool was on a USO tour in Iraq. They played a show in Kuwait, and they played a show in Baghdad on 9/11. And I was there as an embedded reporter and literally bumped into the Drowning Pool guys in Kuwait when I was on my way to meet my unit that I was embedded with in Iraq. They told me they were playing a show in Baghdad on 9/11, told me to come. I asked the unit that I was embedded with in Iraq if they wanted to go. I took that unit and introduced them to the band, and Drowning Pool asked me to introduce them on stage on the 5th anniversary of 9/11 in Baghdad in front of thousands of U.S. troops, heavily armed, and it was insane. And watching Drowning Pool play Bodies for U.S. troops on the 5th anniversary of 9/11 in Baghdad is something that I will never forget. If you go on my Facebook page and go into my photo albums, there is a Boston to Baghdad photo album, and there are pictures from that Drowning Pool show, but there's also video up on YouTube. It was insane. Somebody asking on Instagram, where is Megadeth tonight? I don't know where they are tonight, but they're at the Leader Bank Pavilion in Boston tomorrow night. Jessica says, you got to meet Dave. Dave had already passed by the time Drowning Pool was in Iraq, but I did get to meet Dave. I knew Dave really well because we at WAF started playing Drowning Pool as soon as the debut album came out, and they were on the Ozfest, and I interviewed Dave a few times, including one time in a closet at what is now the Xfinity Center, what used to be Great Woods. And that picture, me and Dave Williams, is up on Facebook as well. And when I went to Dallas a couple of years ago, I went to Arlington, Texas and visited his grave because he was just such a wonderful guy. I just loved Dave Williams. He was just such a great guy. I loved him so much. Let's see. Melissa says, don't forget Staind and Breaking Benjamin with Daughtry at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion on Wednesday the 18th. That show is up on the event calendar as well. City Winery Boston's got Richie Kotzen coming on October 15th. And the Stage at Suffolk Downs has not announced more shows yet, but when they do, I will definitely let you know. And then finally, birthdays. Oh, no, excuse me, new releases. These are all of the new releases, the new vinyl reissues, the new releases, all the stuff that's coming out on Friday, including the new Crowbot album, Obsidian, that's coming out on Friday. The Damned has got Live in Manchester. That's coming out on vinyl, I believe. Everclear has got songs from an American Movie, Volume 1. That's the vinyl reissue. Flotsam and Jetsam, Gwar, Local H has got Whatever Happened to PJ Sales, the 20th anniversary edition. A bunch of Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo reissues coming out on vinyl. So these are all of the rock new releases that are coming out on Friday. All right, speaking of Crowbot, got something from those guys in the mail this week. As Wednesday runs back in because she knows it's mail call time. So I got this card in the mail from Crowbot with a little handwritten note from the band letting me know about their new release, Obsidian, that comes out on Friday. It says, to Mistress Carrie, listen, we didn't want you to have to tell you, but our publicist Heidi said that it was the only way you'd listen to the record. Lie, Heidi. So we command you to enjoy it with a good, clean lifestyle and routine antibiotics. The hex should be gone in a couple of weeks. Love, Crowbot. If you want more details on Crowbot, by the way, you can scan that QR code. They sent me a little baggie with a little hex in it. The new album, Obsidian, coming out on Friday. So thank you to the guys from Crowbot for my little thing. And the other package that I got this week from a band, I got a package from the guys from Shinedown this week. who sent me the Shinedown hot sauces, all 3 flavors. Devour Pineapple Jerk, which was flavor number 2 that got released this year. By the way, Barry Kirch from Shinedown is going to be coming on another episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast. Then there is Shinedown Symptom Chipotle Garlic. This is the original one that they released. This is the most mild out of all of the flavors. And the newest flavor that is also the hottest, Shinedown sent me. Attention, attention. This is hot mango habanero sauce. So you can get all of these Shinedown hot sauces at shinedown.com and through Torchbearer Hot Sauces, who they partnered with for all 3 of those flavors. So getting some mail from some bands. Got this for my husband and I's anniversary at the end of August. It says, happy anniversary. You know, if you stay together long enough, you start looking alike. Now, aren't you glad that you both married someone good looking? Have a good one. It says, happy 4th anniversary. Wishing you a lifetime and more. Love, Melissa and Tim. So thank you guys so much. That's really sweet. My husband and I got married at the end of August of 2020, right before he deployed for the gazillionth time. And since our wedding day, we have never been together on our wedding anniversary. So I'm hoping next year for our 5th anniversary, we'll actually be able to be together. Somebody sent me an anonymous package, as happens from time to time in the war room. And they sent me a dick for Wednesday. A cock and balls, if you will. It's plush, it's soft. Wednesday, do you want to eat a dick? I'll let you. Eat. She's smelling the dick right now. I don't know who sent this. It did not come with a card, but you sent my dog a cock and balls. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm a little conflicted. But this came in the mail this week. So thank you to whoever sent it. Speaking of Wednesday, and this is perfect for the election season, the debate tonight, Wednesday. I 100% agree with this. Vote dog. Every time, vote dog. Wednesday, do you want this? Let me turn your camera on so that everybody can see you playing with your new toys, including your dick. Oh, she's got it by the balls. Bite the shaft. Oh, get the shaft. You want to vote? There you go. All right. Also in this bag, it says, for Her Majesty the Queen Wednesday from Eric. Thank you, Eric. Eric got really imaginative with gifts for Wednesday this week. He sent Wednesday a giant blunt. Between the dick and the blunt, what are you trying to do to my dog? I learned it from watching you, Mom. Smoke up Wednesday. There you go. She got her blunt. She also got a Stanley because she needs the peer pressure to fit in at school. Right, Wednesday? Do you want to see your Stanley? Put that over here. They're so spoiled. You also got from Eric a Xanax pill, a giant Xanax pill. What anxiety could Wednesday possibly have, Eric? Hey, Walter, give Wednesday a dick. The dick was from Eric too? Yeah, I figured as much. So he sent Wednesday a Xanax. Right? Here, they're over here. And then finally sent her a squeaky Gumby. This one still has zip ties on it Wednesday, so you can't have this one yet. Eric, you are fucking hilarious. I don't know where you find a cock and balls dog toy, but you found one. You've corrupted my sweet Wednesday with blunts and dicks and Xanax. Poor girl. I will vote for Wednesday because she is too cute, says Jessica. Vote the shaft on Instagram. Blunt was from Shoe. Yeah, right. I got to get a picture of Wednesday with the blunt in her mouth so I can send that to Mike Shoe. Let's see. She's not spoiled. She's cute. Yes, exactly. Eric, you're hilarious. Hey, Wednesday, do you want to get high? Yeah, Elsa. That's what she needs. All right. Oh, God. Melissa, I fucking love you. I don't even know how I'm going to open all of this. So I'm going to try. Melissa sent me stuff for Fezzik, my giant skeleton. She sent me the accessory kit to turn my giant 12-foot skeleton into Wednesday Addams, including the shoes, just so you guys can see scale. This is how big the feet are for my skeleton, which, by the way, is going to be at Silver Scream Con this weekend, fully dressed now. So Fezzik is now becoming Giant Wednesday because shoes. Then, here's the letter. Hold on. Okay, it's from Melissa and Tim. It says, couple things about the items in this box. New replacement eyes for the skeleton that have different eye functions. Comes with a remote, really easy to charge. Oh, God. Okay, really easy to charge and swap them out. So that's this. Look at the eye options for the skeleton now. You know that's happening. She also says the new light bar that goes in the ribs now stays on the last color selected after being powered off, so no more going out and manually changing the settings every night. Yay. She also made earrings for the skeleton. And, oh God. This box is big. So there's the color bar that goes inside Fezzik's rib cage. There is a giant, I'm not kidding, book bag / purse for the giant skeleton. Giant earrings. A giant necklace. And a Wednesday Addams, I gotta open this. Giant wig. This is a very big wig. I am going to regret opening this, but I'm doing it anyway. That's how big the skeleton head is. That's how big this wig is. The ponytail wig for the skeleton. Oh, wait till you go to Silver Scream Con and you see Fezzik in my booth. You just wait. You just freaking wait. All dressed up with earrings and a necklace and a purse and a custom-made Mistress Carrie t-shirt, I might add. And shoes and new eyeballs. The other thing Melissa says, the box that was sent separately was a necessary purchase. You guys know, being from Leominster, it's where the plastic lawn flamingos came from. She sent me skeleton flamingos. What? I literally opened this box and sent a picture to my sister, and she was like, I need those immediately. How freaking cool are these? Melissa, I don't know where you find this stuff. I don't know how you find this stuff. I don't know what kind of mad Googling skills you have, but you are a god Googler. Like, it's insane. I opened this box and I was like, because it says skeleton accessory kit on the box. So I knew what was in it. So I had to ruin the surprise because you guys know that I couldn't wait. Oh my God, I can't wait. Keith says, this box is big. That's what he said. Carol says, pictures, please. Jonathan says, is it really though? Bye, Keith. He says he's got to run later, fuckers. We are twisted individuals, says Eric, 100%. You might have to share with your sister. I'm not sharing. Fuck her. Not happening. So yeah, if you're not going to be at Silver Scream Con, there will be pictures of my booth up. But Fezzik or Big Wednesday, I got Little Wednesday, and then Big Wednesday is going to be decked out hardcore. So you guys are amazing. I want to thank the Crowbot guys for the card. Thank the Shinedown guys for the hot sauce. Eric, thank you for corrupting my dog and sending her blunts and Xanaxes and right, Nugget. Did you get toys? Do you want this? You want this? Bite it. Just crazy. So thank you to everybody that sent in stuff. The people at the post office were like, you got a lot of mail this week. And I was like, yeah, I know. Trust me. I know. Wednesday looks at you like, what the fuck is going on? I know. Let's see. Trina says, good night, War Room family. All right. Want to remind you guys that most likely after Silver Scream Con, all the tank tops are going to be gone. So if you want to get them before the end of the summer, whatever I have left is probably going to sell at Silver Scream Con this weekend. So if you want tank tops, order them this week and I'll get them shipped out, because the rest of the tank tops are going to the DCU Center for Silver Scream Con this weekend. So if you don't have your tank tops already, the end of the summer is coming. Get your tank tops ASAP. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you have got access to exclusive concert ticket giveaways, including Megadeth tickets and Korn tickets. So if you got a Backstage Pass and you want to go to one of those shows, send me a message through Patreon. If you do not have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you can go to patreon.com, go to Mistress Carrie. You can find out who's going to be on the podcast before anybody else, get travel blog updates, early access to events and ticket information, merch discount codes when we release new merchandise. You can find the link at mistresscarrie.com. But get a Backstage Pass. We also do exclusive monthly live streams. We got together on Sunday, so the Backstage Pass holders know everything that's going on, like in the next month or so, which is going to be a lot. A reminder of all of the places that you can find me online and all the radio stations and apps that you can listen to me online. And once again, a reminder about the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock Group. Happy anniversary to all of my AAF to Afghanistan and Boston to Baghdad friends from the military. And once again, just solemnly commemorating the anniversary of 9/11 tomorrow. It doesn't make sense that it was 23 years ago. Like that doesn't compute. It feels like yesterday, and I can't believe it's been that long already. So to everybody that's going to be struggling, seeing all of the images all over again, to all of the first responders, it's a very sad anniversary for a lot of people. And just want to make sure that we're being conscious of that, and that today is World Suicide Prevention Day, and this is Suicide Prevention Month in the United States. 988 is the toll-free number that you can call or text if you or someone you love is struggling. All right, guys, that's the show for tonight. Hopefully, I will see you at the Mistress Carrie booth at Silver Scream Con all weekend. You can get the link to get your tickets, the hours, all the details on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. And episode 223 of the Mistress Carrie podcast comes out at midnight. Good night, guys. Say good night, Wednesday.